This programme is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance and Investments.
Unlucky. Tenor says you missed the next one as well. Best of 3?
South Africa will go on and play for third place.
England almost got back in the game, but it was just too little too late.
And Jamaica will face New Zealand for the Nations Cup title.
3 from 3, the world champions. New Zealand will be through to the final.
We're live from the Copper Box Arena, our first game today, England against South Africa. It is the third place playoff. The Roses are in the building. They started too slowly against Jamaica 24 hours ago. They were on the comeback in the final quarter, but it wasn't enough. What will Nat Haythornthwaite do today? How will she lead her side? They're up against South Africa, who they beat on Wednesday in Birmingham. But South Africa, what did we see from the Spar Proteas? Yesterday, they pushed the world champions all the way. Direct Badenhorst was delighted. These are the results so far from the Nations Cup. New Zealand undefeated 3 from 3. They play Jamaica in the final at 5 o'clock, that centre pass. Just to point out, they did beat them in Birmingham on Wednesday. The scoreline 71-45, but we saw a rejuvenated Jamaican side against England yesterday. They are buoyed and full of confidence heading into that final. But our first game is England, South Africa. Delighted to be joined by 2 former England internationals, Tamsin Greenway and Pamela Cookey, and the Aussie Diamonds head coach, Lisa Alexander. Lisa, many people, we saw you a week ago. Many people are wondering why you're here. You're spying, aren't you?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I've enjoyed every moment of it. I've actually learned a lot about how popular England netball is in England. The crowds are going crazy about the netball, and that's wonderful for our sport in England.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, so many fans since the Cup in July in Liverpool last year. The sport is going from strength to strength. We're going to go straight to team news and show you the South African lineup is as follows. Lisa, over to you. Pretty strong in defence.
Oh, they're massively strong in defence. Yesterday you saw Humza Mawani and Carla Pretorius really wake up, I think, against the Kiwis, get their combination right and start to get those tips and touches and intercepts that we're used to seeing from that combination.
Okay, moving on to the Roses. And Pam, this is the same side that we saw in the last quarter against Jamaica yesterday.
Yeah, it's really good to see that Jess has rewarded these 7 ladies after their last quarter performance. 21 goals against Jamaica. It was a little too late in terms of getting the result, but loving that Amy Carter gets the start at centre, her first time in this competition. It's going to be that attacking end. Ellie Cardwell has been phenomenal as a shooter and also playing out of goal attack. How can she come against the world-class player of Pretorius and alongside Georgia Fisher against Mawani? So that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing, is that attacking end and how they jump.
Earlier on, Tamsin Greenway caught up with the England Roses head coach Jess Thirlby to discuss that attack end.
Hi Jess, so final game and you must have learnt loads this week. We've talked about progressions and resets. I've picked out a player that I want to have a look at, Nat Haythornthwaite. A, because she's your captain, A, because she's played every single minute of every single game, and probably realistically moving forward, she's somebody you're going to be building your attack end around.
Yeah, I mean, Nat's been really impressive. I think she's really embraced the leadership role. I think we're getting the best out of Nat, and you know, she disappears back to Suncorp soon, so that every minute of every game is for a reason. And I think you're right, we need to start looking at building a unit around her, and she's doing a fantastic job in the attack.
Okay, well, let's talk about the age-old question. Wing attack, goal attack. Can you cross over at both? Both you and I were wing attack and goal attack. Tried, yeah. I think we were just discussing, I got bumped out of goal attack because I couldn't shoot, and you got bumped out of goal attack
because you all started coming through. Yeah.
We were all younger. So we're going to talk about Nat first of all, and wing attack. And this is my favourite position for Nat, and I think because she opens up the attack end so nicely, her creativity, just looking at from the centre pass, it's this second phase as well, and although they don't choose to use her, she becomes available coming through the court. I'm just going to stop it there as she offloads, and we pick her up. It's her control on the circle edge as well. So as we play this through, she's not looking to force the feed, but look, the swing to the top and the open up to the shooter. How happy have you been in that attacking position?
Yeah, I think, listen, Nat's very natural in the wing attack role. I think I'm really pleased to see how well she's kind of become a student of the game down that end. Her decision making and the speed within which she makes it is fantastic. Like you say, she recognises when to swing the ball. She's got a lovely feed on her, and we've obviously got different styles in the shooting circle. So Nat's very natural in that wing attack role, and she uses the space well. And I think the second phase, you're quite right, she's most probably the best for us at the moment in terms of second phase availability.
Okay, so let's talk about her in the goal attack role then. So we know she's shorter, so the issue mainly for me is the shot, not necessarily the playmaking, because we know she can do that. Now against Sterling she only shot 42%, but against Carla Pretorius she changed the game. So tactically, and I just want you to look at her here, are you thinking about who she's playing against? Because this work against Sterling here, again she's doing loads on the centre pass, and what I think is really interesting is the work rate she does outside. So it's a very different to goal attack. We usually have our goal attacks entering and going in here, and that's probably something you'd want to see from a Kadeen Corbin or a Helen Housley when she comes back. Are you happy with the work she's doing out the front? And
yeah, I think it's a bit of a work on for Nat when she slides across that goal attack role as to how deep we needed to get near the circle quicker and deeper, because when she's at most value to us is when she's pulling the front. When she's playing with the likes of Elle or Gian behind her, she needs to pull the front. Working the base and being behind defenders is no use to us, and like you say, that might work for a Cads when she can pull the base with a bit more stature in there, but actually what Nat I think did impressively when we played South Africa was she kept Carla really busy, because you can't also leave Nat alone. And whilst I know her stats may not be consistent yet in that role or depending on her opponent, she always attacks the post, so you can't afford to leave Nat alone, because once she gets her eye in, she's like a robot as well. So yeah, I'm happy with it, but it's absolutely a work on. It's not easy sliding across there, but I think it's great to have a player of that calibre that can do that at the moment.
Brilliant. Well, fingers crossed for today, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Tamsin, in agreement with the England head coach and happy to see Nat as wing attack start?
Yeah, I'm really happy, because I think that George Fisher, Ellie Cardwell is the right combination for this game. We will probably see Nat Haythornthwaite have to slide into that goal attack position, because I think Carla Pretorius will get on top of Ellie Cardwell at some point. But I think that's what I want to see. If she's used there as an impact, it's fine, but then she's still got to make sure she is getting into that circle and being an option, because as we go along and as Lisa Alexander spies and goes along tactically, coaches start looking and going, well, we know she's not going to shoot, or we know she's going to hang outside the circle, so they can build something again. So it's really important, if Jess is going to use her in both positions, that they keep working on her entering the circle and really attacking that post.
Lisa, what kind of decision making have you seen from the England head coach this week?
Look, I've seen it being a little bit of a mixed bag, actually. Not quite seeing the strategy that you might have seen with the Silver Ferns, although, you know, we've got to be fair to Jess too. This has been a tough introduction to home environment coaching, and that always places expectations and extra expectations, lots of noise, lots of external noise. You've got to learn to cut that out and still stick with your strategy that you're trying to put out there with your team from one game to the other. So you're seeing a build towards those finals.
Yeah, on home soil, coaching on home soil is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Obviously, she took charge of the series in South Africa and England victorious 2-1 in November. Pam, we want to see these young players have an opportunity on court and not be taken off, but it's a delicate balance, isn't it?
It is a mixture, and you need to get them to have that, to be able to feel playing at an international level. If you can watch all the video, you can sit on the sideline, you can be in the mix, but until you actually step onto that court and play against the opposition, you don't get that experience, and you don't know what it's like, and you can't learn from that. So it's a tough balance, getting the exposure out there, but I think these competitions early on is the ideal opportunity to do it, but play them alongside the experienced players so that they get to feel that and they feel confident and they feel supported. So it's really good that at times Jess has done that throughout this competition.
Well, England was certainly firing in that final quarter against Jamaica yesterday. The question is, will they be firing today?
You're now rocking with the best. I will not lose ever.
Well, England are coming off the back of that defeat against Jamaica yesterday, but a reminder, they did beat South Africa a few days ago. It was on Wednesday in Birmingham, and losing out to New Zealand on match day 1 by 16 goals. But today, Lisa, we're seeing Amy Carter start as centre. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I think she's done a fabulous job so far. So seeing her out there tonight, wonderful recognition of her building into possibly a long-term international for the Roses.
Well, you played against her in a practice game, didn't you? You played against Manchester Thunder.
We have many times, so I'm not surprised to see her coping with that chaotic nature that international netball throws at you. And, you know, she's got great defensive and attacking skills. I've actually seen her grow over this series. Being able to finely tune some of those feeds into the shooters, she's got better at that over each game.
Well, the South Africans are coming out onto the court. Tamsin, how impressed were you with their performance yesterday against New Zealand?
Well, they were brilliant yesterday, weren't they? They went down by 7 goals in the end, but it was more their attitude towards the game. We talked about individuals improving across the week with Carla Pretorius and her relationship with Mweni, but for me it was about the attack end, how fearless they were, how prepared they were to let the ball go. Interestingly, they've not started with that same attacking lineup, so whether Griselle and Charwayne can go out there now and do the same job that we saw Msomi and Drea do so well, because it was definitely letting the ball go into the circle that made all the difference against the Kiwis.
Just wait for this noise. The Copper Box Arena erupting as the Roses come out. It's the start of this new 4-year international cycle, and for coaches it's a great opportunity to try out different combinations, as we've discussed over the last few days. It's a pretty intense environment. As a coach, what do you want to get out of the Nations Cup?
Definitely want to see that growth in not just individual athletes, but also the team being able to come together, but also to be able to back up day in, day out. So it'll be very interesting to see how all the teams cope with playing yesterday and then backing up today. That's what I would want to see as a coach.
third place playoff of the 2020 Nations Cup. Without further ado, let's get to commentary and join Pamela Cookie and Catherine Merry.
Thank you very much indeed, Di. Once again, the Copper Box in London rocking for international netballing action. The familiar huddles by both teams, England and South Africa. The 63rd meeting, Roses have won 47 in the past, as recently as last Wednesday. A confirmation then of Jess Thirlby's starting lineup. Kwasi into goalkeeper, meaning Francis moves into goal defence, but Cardwell and Fisher given the shooting duties as they were in Wednesday in Birmingham. And in terms of South Africa, we've talked about their defensive lineup, the same defence in that defeat to England just this week. And their shooting circle the same as the Birmingham match as well. And South Africa, well, netball means a lot to them, especially as they're hosting the next World Cup.
Purple hat, cheetah print, dancing on the people, rolled up at the after joint, dancing on the people, purple hat, cheetah print, dancing on the people, rolled up at the after joint, dancing on the people on the booth, hanging from the people on the people, my hits the roof, dancing on the ceiling on the people, I got people on the dancing on the people, I got purple hat, cheetah print, dancing on the people, rolled up at the after joint, dancing on the people dancing on the people, I got people on the people dancing on the people with the people on the people, smoking CO2, see me, see you dance on the people, I got
Oh yes, I see you.
The noise is deafening. Amy Carter in the centre position for the England Roses, looking cool and calm, the Manchester Thunder player. This is a big match for England and South Africa. No wins in the Nations Cup for South Africa so far. England, remember, beat the Proteas on Wednesday 58-54. That is what Jess Thirlby will be wanting again. Pamela Cookie, who's alongside me in commentary.
Hello, yes, indeed. And it was a slow start for England in that game, but they just fired up at half-time to come out with that win against South Africa on Wednesday. And it's great to see George Fisher there just slot her first goal in and settle herself and settle the team.
Yes, England down in the first and at half-time when they played South Africa at Arena Birmingham, but on the board early doors with the first goal. No Bongi Mzomi for the South Africans. So their captain watching on the sidelines. Pothita putting it outside of the circle, got away with it, back into her, little bit closer now. You like to get as close as possible, Pamela.
You do, get your percentages up by getting closer to the post.
A nice smile, she draws them level early doors. Cardwell in that goal attack position. Francis. Nice patient build-up. The ever-present Natalie Haythorne-Thwaite.
Yeah, great movement for her across that top of the circle to get round the back of Shirane.
Instruction goalkeeper. Penalty pass.
Good. Cardwell again continues from where she was yesterday. So unsung with that shot. Haythorne-Thwaite on the intercept.
Time to capitalise for England. And they do.
Great. Watch this from Haythorne-Thwaite, backing up on the line. It was South Africa centre pass. Oh, lovely feed-in. Just putting Phumzamawene to the left-hand side and George Fisher opening it up nicely on the right. That ball was well weighted.
England fans happy with this dynamic start then in this third and fourth place playoff here at the Vitality Netball Nations Cup. New Zealand and Jamaica to come.
It's good hustle from England in defence. They're going for everything.
Kwasi around the back of the post in the goalkeeper position for England. Not quite quick enough to put off Pothita. Good at Badenhorst. Now in charge of the South African team. Took over from Norma Plummer. Her assistant, though, so she'd have learnt a lot.
She was part of the coaching setup when Norma Plummer was there, so knows what Norma was trying to do and trying now as the lead to take that forward.
And a quick shot at Jess Thirlby, appointed in July last year. succeeding, of course, Tracy Neville, who's been present here at the Copper Box.
Nice play from Radaman, just waiting for Pogita to roll around the front and then lovely bounce pass underneath the defence hands.
Still England by 2. Jay Clark, 176th appearance today, England's most capped ever player. This is good. England are finding good space in the shooting circle.
They are. They're working this ball through the court nicely, changing up the angles, making it really difficult for the South African defence to work together. Good, we can see how this ball is moving through the court, changing up talk about the angles again, the side, not just coming down one channel, spreading the defense.
Radaman drops it on. Pogita picks it up. Still a two-goal lead, excuse me now. Bang on 11 minutes of the first quarter. Played a lot against each other recently, these two sides, back in November in the series that you guys were talking about, pre-match, Pamela, with the 2-1 win.
Good, so they've had a lot of chance to watch South Africa, watch videos. On the flip side, South Africa have also had those opportunities to see England. Lovely Pogita.
Stacey Francis telling herself off then, Pamela, for the space that she left.
Definitely, and she got drawn round the edge onto the wing attack, which left that space under the post.
100% for Pogita so far, but also 100% for Cardwell and Fisher, carrying on their good shooting from yesterday in that loss to Jamaica. Both Cardwell and Fisher shot at 92%. It might not be the match either of these sides wanted to play in, Pamela, but boy, does it matter at the start of this new cycle as we head towards the World Cup in 2023 in Cape Town in South Africa, the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, of course, in 2022.
Yep, so much coming up in this 4-year cycle, and this is just the beginning. But as you say, both teams really want to take this game.
Well, South Africa will not want to travel home with no wins in the Nations Cup, and England will want to repeat their victory of just a few days ago. Appreciation from the England fans.
Very knowledgeable crowd.
Nice interception from South Africa, starting to get into their stride a little bit more. Still a 4-goal deficit. Kwashi handed over. Let's go. Little 1-2 with Jay Clark.
Yeah, that was footwork called there, unforced error from South Africa. Again, lets England come down on the attack. They've been good so far in terms of scoring off their turnover, which is one of the problems that they had against Jamaica. Nice pass. Carter really coming to her own there on the edge of the circle, seeing the space that Georgia Fisher's walking into, and she loves that.
The youth playing a part. Carter, Cardwell, Fisher. 10-5. England have double the lead of South Africa. But Pogita has all the space in the world as she pulls another one back. Plays for Adelaide Thunderbirds down under, alongside Chelsea Pittman, of course, in the England squad.
Just got to appreciate that role from Carter there at centre to be able to create the space for herself.
Found obstruction centre. Boundaries contact goal defence.
Nice defence, just getting drawn on the player coming out towards the edge. That time it was Radaman at goal attack, and so leaving Pogita under the post on her own.
11 playing 7.
Penalty pass.
Penalty pass called. Haythorne-Thwaite. She's going for it, you know. And she nets it.
Yeah. No fear from Cardwell on a shot in this competition. She's just turning and going straight to post.
When all 4 of these national coaches sit down, Pamela, at the end of this Nations Cup, they will look and see who's improved, who's made a difference, who's took the opportunity. And for England and South Africa and the other 2 nations, They'll all have their individual athletes, but Ellie Cardwell in particular for the England Roses has really stood up in this Nations Cup.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And just there, Jay Clark getting herself in the right position to get a clean intercept. Good take, George Fisher.
Contact center.
South Africa wasting no time. England making it hard for them, though, defensively. Get themselves into a shooting position.
Keeper, where you are.
Yeah, Bogita using her body well to get in front of Kwashi. Oh, almost there from Francis. But this defensive end really need to lock down Bogita because she's just having things her own way a little bit in that circle.
The difference is 4.
Okay, I always love this shot because you can just see the patterns as it goes around and the movement of the players off the ball and how they have to prepare themselves. Oh, but unlucky that one didn't go through. Her first miss.
Pretorius, the vice-captain, potentially wearing the captain's armband there for today with no Bongi and Zomi on court. Nice ball wide. Stacey Francis getting involved. You'd send her in every time, wouldn't you? And you'd back her most of the time as well.
Definitely.
Pothita turns. There is Bongi and Zomi. Played such a part, of course, in Super League netball in the UK. Gone back to South Africa now to take up a coaching role at a university.
Yeah. Sure, she'll be disappointed she's not on this court, but also knows for the team as well what they're trying to do in terms of giving others opportunity and that experience at international level.
Well, she'll share that experience now. It's the University of Johannesburg, a coach in netball she's gone back to. And an abundance of experience to pass on.
On court, throwing, England.
Lucky there from England. When you take a sideline, your foot has to be behind the line. But Pretorius called for on the line, hence it got turned over.
Well, this first quarter has absolutely flown by with just under 5 minutes remaining. Such super action in this third, fourth playoff. England slip another one in, take it back to 3.
Contact with defence. With her.
See, just in the back of your shot, the England Roses keeping themselves warm, ticking over in case they get the nod. There they are. Chelsea Pittman, Laura Malcolm.
Oh, great roll. George Fisher using that backspace nicely and good again from Carter to see it and to wait that pass just as she comes out of it. Lucky Kwashi. That's where she can be so good and when she's running hard. But they need to go with Rademan. They can't afford to leave her and double team on Pothita. Look at this from Kwashi, how she moves her feet. She doesn't just put a hand to it, she actually runs her feet onto the ball.
Coming up to 3 minutes remaining then, the first 15 minutes on this final day of action in the Vitality Netball Nations Cup. Cardwell kept a concentration from the high-flying Carla Pretorius.
Yeah, timed that shot well, just waited for Carla Pretorius to jump and land and then put the shot up. Good defense, almost from Clark. Just catching the body before the ball. That's better from England. Do you see how they swapped there? So Stacey Francis coming in late onto Pothita. Kwashi coming to cover Rademan.
Called on that one, a little knowing smile.
Yeah, Pothita used her body well.
Come with her.
Finally, South Africa get the chance. With Pothita to draw one back, and they do. England centre pass then. Amy Carter, another on the list of Jess Thirlby that stood up and really taken the opportunity here at the Nations Cup. England, of course, know Halsby, Harton, Guthrie, Usoro, Brown, Mentor, all to come back in.
Wing defence.
So the players of all these nations have to take the opportunity when it's given. And some of the youngsters of all the nations have, including, as I've said again, Ellie Cardwell.
See Fran Williams there just warming up.
Contact. Penalty pass.
She hasn't played yet much in this competition so far. She played a lot when they were over in South Africa. So it'd be good to see how she's developed from that competition and coming into this.
So a reminder, when these teams met in Birmingham on Wednesday, England were down at the first quarter by 3, 16-13. That's the score that's just been taken away by that goal. England had to fight for that win on Wednesday.
Oh, I really hope they score from this, because that was such lovely play coming through the court, and the fingers from George Fisher there to take that and pull it in. Great attacking work from England.
Advantage breaking wing attack.
Spotted contact wing defence.
She's delivering today, pot heater, still at 100%, 14 from 14. She only shot at 79% in that loss against New Zealand.
Little fumble there from England. But with 16 seconds left, can they hold this ball up?
Not up to the line.
Again, another foul throw from South Africa. This time not up to the line.
That is the perfect end to the first quarter for Jess Thirlby's England Roses. Perhaps from their teammates, the pyrotechnics are going off here at the Copper Box on this final day of action in the Nations Cup. But that's the exact start that England wanted, leading South Africa by 3 goals, 18-15.
Oh, great start from England. Way to come out after yesterday's final quarter, but then the loss to really stamp their authority on this game, and every single one of those 7 players really doing their job and capitalising on the South African mistake.
So the first 15 minutes have gone, and England Roses, well, they are in control for now. The second quarter to come live here from the Copper Box in London.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Welcome back to the Copper Box here in London. Lots of advice and tactics, Pamela Cookie, being discussed on the England bench as they lead by 3.
Yeah, Sonia McClomo, we see assistant coach for England, one of the Hall of Famers for England netball, a goal defence, one of my old captains.
England leading 18-15.
Bad contact, wing defense.
A rematch of the match last year at the World Cup in July for the bronze medal, which England won.
Great start, getting a 3-second call. That defensive pressure straight off after that whistle.
Talking of the World Cup, 9 of the squad that are in Liverpool for South Africa are here, 5 for Jess Thirlby in England. And George Fisher rolling one in and assisting the ball to get back to the centre pass quickly to Amy Carter.
Yeah, you always like that from your shooters, just to get possession of that ball so they can control it going back to the circle, and they can pass it properly to the centre so they don't have to chase after it, wasting energy.
So a nice Manchester Thunder Super League presence on court at the moment.
Bowen, goal line.
Carter and Cardwell. See Potheater for South Africa, keen to get this one up and running. They're down by 5, but it's in England's possession. Clark looking for space.
Good drive from Clark through to create that space and then be able to pop back when needed. Oh, fabulous. Captain Haythornthwaite seeing the Cardwell drive.
Captain Haythornthwaite sees everything. Eyes everywhere.
And this is what we didn't see from England in those initial games, capitalising on the mistakes of the opposition. That's 2 turnovers now and 2 that they've taken to goal.
Jade Clark read that one like a book.
Poaching in that centre third.
England look to make it count. And with fire in her shoes, Ellie Cardwell.
2 hands from Jade Clark. South Africa just being caught standing. They've made the change in wing defence, bringing Vimbella on. Taken off Van der Merwe.
Possession centre.
See Vimbella there in the wing defence, as Pamela mentioned, fighting for the ball. Here's confirmation of those changes then. Derek Baden-Horst deciding, you know what? 3 down after the first 15 minutes requires a change. Vimbella being one of those changes on court now for South Africa. Potheater, though, is doing her job, still shooting at 100%.
Yeah, she is indeed. And when she's one-on-one in that circle, she really does know how to hold and give her attackers the space to put it into.
Contact. Keeper. Goalkeeper, please.
Fisher waits. Fisher scores. So under 4 minutes gone in this second quarter. The lead by England's been extended. It was 3 after the first 15 minutes. Now we're out to 9 for the England Roses.
And that was created from that start of the quarter. Those 2 interceptions off the South African centre pass, or 2 turnovers, sorry. And then the Jade Clark fly through the centre third. And no sooner as Vimbella's on the court, she's called in injury time, and Van der Merwe comes back on, and Bongi Masomi at wing attack.
So the South African captain on court, being drawn upon in this second quarter. Baden-Horst thinking, I've started with that 7. I need to make changes pretty swiftly here, because England are putting their foot on the gas on their home court here in London, and I need that not to happen.
Definitely, she needs that experience from Masomi, that flair, that talent to help try and drive this attacking end. As we see her footwork getting into the corner. Good timing from Radaman. And a nice shot. Masomi's back.
Surely it wasn't as simple as just because Bongi and Zomi hasn't started, that's why South Africa didn't start as well.
Oh, no, not at all. No, not saying that.
She's influential, the South African captain.
Oh, she definitely.
And she's got to get her side back into this Pretorius, wasting no time.
I say that because I think England started so well as well.
Baddage contact, wing defence.
Potgieter continues.
Badenhorst on the left of his shot there. Appointed the head coach of South Africa, as I mentioned just a few months ago. Been given the task of leading the South African side on this next cycle towards the home World Cup and those Commonwealth Games that I've mentioned. George Fisher knew what was coming there with Pretorius, head down, guarded herself, put one in.
She could feel it, the fly was coming, but as you say, head down, just pulled that ball in.
Lovely ball from Masomi.
And that's what you get from Masomi. Her speed, she drives through the court, she gets South Africans in depth, but also on the pass, her vision is really great and the execution of the pass. It's really crucial for South Africa.
Well, they played yesterday against New Zealand, 48-41 they lost, but it was a much improved performance by the South African side. Centre court was more fluid, connecting better with the defence and the attack. They really did put some pressure on New Zealand. Chit-chat there. 28-21, 7 goals the difference, 8.5 minutes remaining. A little bit too much on that one.
Yeah, having to come out, but...
Sideline.
A little ooh from the crowd. It reaches Stacey Francis from Kwashi. Haythornthwaite to Carter.
Good from Carter, not to try and put that into Fisher first time, but to swing it. And then Haythornthwaite gets it into George Fisher. She's having a whale of a time.
Always good family support for George Fisher whenever she plays. I'm sure her dad and family are either here live or watching on with immense pride. Not to be on the long one that was due to go into the hands of Natalie Haythornthwaite. But Omzomi now looking then to create something from a stolen ball. 29-21.
Baddage contact, wing defence.
Good from Dreyer, just taking that front cut to get in front of her defender. And put the ball in. Potgieter, 20 from 20. Look at this for Masomi. That ball went across 3 channels from one sideline to the other and gave Masomi, Phumza Maweni time to get that intercept.
South Africa looking to stay close here. They had a good third quarter yesterday against New Zealand. So you know potentially what's coming from the South Africans when you get into the third set of 15 minutes. But England still leading by 7.
Yeah, you always want to try and finish a quarter within 5, because that's just 2 turnovers and you're back in the game again.
They've had no wins, South Africa, but all their losses have been decided by 7 goals or less. So you know what's coming.
They don't make it easy
with the South African side.
Hold time.
Good, quick ball from Carter. As soon as the whistle went, she had let that pass go.
Baddage contact, wing defence.
Advantage contact win defence. You're not wrong. A little bounce off the chest between Jade Clark
and
the South African centre.
Baddage offside, wing defence.
Oh, lovely roll, Radaman. Just facing up to Kwashi, spinning to get her back on her and pop him.
Ellie Cardwell having a little pat on the back from Jess Thirlby as she exits the court. Shot at 92%. Corbin on then in the goal attack position, and instantly making her presence felt. Puts her head in her hands though, called up, back into South Africa's possession.
Good defence from England to get that ball back again. Just putting a little bit of pressure on the attackers in terms of ball placement, but well held court to pull that ball in.
So the successful partnership for England in terms of Cardwell and Fisher has been changed up by head coach Jess Thirlby.
Both players out, both contact.
Hang on, 5 minutes remaining until half-time.
Oh, great work, Kwashi. She read that shooter ball, made sure she got herself in front and takes it off the sideline. Yeah, Mavericks fans would have seen her plenty of times in the Super League, and it's nice to see her getting some international court time.
Another Super League team heavily with presence in the England setup. Mavericks, a Super League, of course, starting in about 3 weeks' time here in the UK.
Hold it on.
Corbin then with the toss over to Fisher.
Yeah, George Fisher, another fellow Maverick, as is Kadeen Corbin, who we've seen enter the game at goal attack, as you said.
So a Super League partnership up front at the moment then for England. South Africa nicely into the circle. And Potheater puts one in.
Yeah, Kat Ratnapala, another one of Jess's assistant coach, also head of Mavericks, so she'll be enjoying this, that her players getting some court time.
So the lead is still 6 for England. Remember, it was 3 after the first 15 minutes. So doubled the lead so far.
This side, ladies, this side. Yeah, goalkeeper, you're out of play, please.
Chance for Corbin.
Yeah, to get her first goal of this game.
Pretoria stands by.
Nice. Good settler from Corbin.
I don't think there's many better ways as a netball fan to spend your Sunday here in London dressed as a flower. Fabulous support for the England Roses.
Advantage contact, advantage offside.
Yeah, the crowds have been really good.
Goalkeeper.
And for the South Africans as well, to be fair, the Throaches, of course. Pink and yellow petals. It's a flower, the national flower of South Africa.
The Protea?
Yeah, Protea is, yeah. Just in case you're wondering.
Every day's a learning day. No, I didn't know that.
Netball team, cricket team.
Advantage contact, goal defence. Keeper inside. Contact.
2.5 minutes
Inside the
remaining.
circle, ladies.
Well, Moeni had such a great game yesterday, but George Fisher has really stood up to that. She's sitting on 100%, 21 from 21.
Well, you said, Pamela Cookie, moments ago, you want to keep it to 5 in terms of at the end of every quarter. It's currently at 7, the deficit for South Africa at the moment. Potheater, though, I'm sure will pull one back, which she does, still at 100%. Not missed one of her 24 shots so far. But there's still 6 down, the South African side.
Good from Clark, just having to use the defence to bring this ball through. Hey, Thornthwaite comes up the middle. And South Africa really hassling England, just making them play back. Lovely Corbin. Going over the top, as you saw there, to that baseline, just to pull the South Africans a little bit wider, so again, they can't play together. And then she finds George Fisher on the post with a quick pass.
Lovely ball from Nzomi. Potheater wanting...
Oh, twinkle toes.
Better positioning. Pretorius nearly disrupted the centre pass of Amy Carter, but Francis, the high reach, the flair from Corbin.
Great take. And Fisher just keeps rolling them in.
She too, like hot heater and adamant for South Africa at 100%. As is Corbin, by the way, 1 from 1. So every shooter on court at the moment playing their part for their team. 30 seconds until half-time, and the conversations for Jess Thirlby and Drette Badenhorst. Jess Thirlby's going to be happy with this, I presume. A little bit too much flair from Corbin on that one. And South Africa will pick it up on the back line with 10 seconds to go.
Oh. They know there's not enough time, but couldn't foul. Jono, the umpire says no goal.
John O'Brien says no goal. The pyrotechnics go off, but what a little bit of flair to end. Look at this. Bongi and Zomi with the vision. Just not going to count for South Africa, but they want this as much as the England Roses. 36-29. Gail Davis, you're on court.
Thanks very much, Kath. Nat, you started with the same 7 that ended so strongly yesterday, and you seem to pick up where you left off. The momentum was still there, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of heart out there right now. It's our last chance to represent the Roses for this international calendar. It's always a privilege to wear the red dress, so we're trying to do it justice right now.
We know this one isn't quite won yet. How do you push on in the second half?
Just being clinical, that's all we've spoken about, looking after the ball, being clinical in possession and getting our job in defence, full team effort.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nat. Bongi, you had to sit and watch, didn't you, for that first kind of quarter and a half? Sum up some of the frustration on the bench, because we saw you go so well yesterday against New Zealand.
Yeah, I think we have to be disappointed with how we started the game. The plan was to really go hard in the first quarter. Probably pretty pleased with how you're going now. Still a few things to correct, but we know how we are capable of playing. We showed that yesterday, and like literally second half we need to step up.
Yeah, might we see some changes? I mean, we saw your shooting circle, didn't we, go so well with 2 target shooters in there.
Oh, I think that's a nice thing with the team. We have so many options, and the good thing is on the day when it's on, it really works. So hopefully if there are any changes, they're going to work for us.
Yeah, you've got 30 minutes left, haven't you, Bongi?
Yes.
Go give it some in the changing room.
Thank you.
Indeed, go give it some in the changing room, Bongium Zone, but not too much for the England fans. The Roses lead 36-29, a super first half of action here at the Copper Box, but the Roses are leading the Proteas.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Nat Haythornthwaite, the captain of the England Roses, leading by example. Great vision, great creativity. A great feed in there to George Fisher. And the scoreline against South Africa, 36-29 at the halfway stage here at the Copper Box, the final day of the Nations Cup. And George been on great form over the last 30 minutes. Here with Lisa Alexander and Tamsin Greenway. Tamsin, what have you seen from the game so far?
Well, you know what, I walked over this morning to the Copper Box and I bumped into so many England fans who told me the lineup they wanted to see, and it was this lineup, and this is why. It wasn't about the winning. Of course we want to win, but it's also about how we're bringing youngsters through and how we're putting them around experience. However, I want to pick up two clips. So the first clip I want to look at is Nat Haythornthwaite and how she's actually really helping. And if we just stop it here, how she's opening up Amy Carter. She is making Amy Carter look good. That is Nat Haythornthwaite's job. She's getting up the court. She's making sure that Amy Carter's got space. And if we just play this through here, Amy Carter is going to land on the circle edge and has a beautiful feed into Ellie Cardwell, which is excellent. However, down the other end, if we can just flip to the next clip, Raz Quashie is playing here with Stacey Francis. And as we play this centre pass through, I want to stop it here. Right. Jay Clark goes for that first intercept, and it exposes Amy Carter now with this deep ball going through. If we play it on, you're going to see Charwayne has an easy ball here. And now just stop. Now this, if we can just stop it here. So if we can just take it back just a little bit. Watch Stacey Francis open up. Watch Stacey Francis at the top of the circle. She's so tight on, Aussie style, on Radaman, open it up. Look at Raz Quashie now step towards the ball. And if we play this through, she's expecting the switch. Doesn't happen, leaves Pothita wide open at the post. Now, Raz Quashie is not a tall keeper. For her to be effective in this England side, it's going to be about a partnership. Okay, and this is where England need to look at moving forward. If Jiva Mentor is coming back into the frame, then are we working on a goal defence, or are we saying Jiva Mentor maybe at some point be on her way out? Is Raz Quashie the answer? Who is her partner? Because at Maverick, she plays with a real sort of like off-marking style defence. Yeah. With Stacey Francis, she's a real tight on, so that space is so open in the circle. She's struggling to get as effective ball as she would do in her club side.
Lisa, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, look, it's very interesting actually, because sometimes you can see Stacey Francis can play off the body and play the space really well. So maybe it's actually a bit of an instruction coming through from their defensive coach just to tweak that a little bit for this second half, and that actually may assist our goalkeeper from England.
Definitely, and I think it is a tactical thing. They've asked Stacey Francis to do the work out the front on Radaman, which is great, but Raz Quashie has been exposed and we're not seeing the best of her yet. Also doesn't help that she hasn't played loads in this series. You know, Amy Carter's been played in, and Nat Haythornthwaite is really gelling with her.
And the only place you're ever going to learn, Lisa, is on an international stage.
That's right, and look, they're being effective at times. They are getting ball back, but it's just those moments when they really could. You could have Stacey Francis going back in and having a crack at that post ball, which we call, you know, sometimes in Australia.
Definitely. Okay, 30 minutes to go. England in control. Will it stay that way? The Roses are looking for their second victory against South Africa. Can they do it? Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Welcome back to the Copper Box here in London. England leading South Africa on this final day of action of the Vitality Netball Nations Cup, a fourth playoff match. There's statistics from the last 4 results when England have faced South Africa in that series before Christmas, a 2-1 win for Jess Thirlby's side, and of course, just this week gone in Birmingham, a win once again over the South African side for England, and they have the lead here then, Tamsin Greenway, who's alongside me now in commentary, by 7 goals. And Amy Carter performing as well as we hoped when she was given that start in the centre position.
Yeah, she's been brilliant, hasn't she, this afternoon? I think we're all pleased to see her out there just because of her progression this week. She looks like she's been playing in this dress for a very long time. Really cool, calm and composed, and as we're talking about in the analysis, the way Nat Haythornthwaite is really opening it up for her. It does help with those experienced players around you.
So a few changes we're noticing on court. Looks like Francis has gone back into the goalkeeper position. Shimin come on for England in goal defence. Shawayne has gone back into the centre position for South Africa. Here's confirmation of those changes then in this third quarter, with just half an hour to go for South Africa, to pick up their first and only win in this Nations Cup. What do we think of those changes, Tamsin?
Well, in terms of South Africa, I'm not surprised they've made a change again because they are trying to claw themselves back into the game. Actually, probably frustrated with what they started with, because I think not having Umsomi and Drea on that court to start off with really set the tone to how the South Africans were playing, both in attack and defence. It allowed England to get comfortable coming through that court. And coming into the attack, they just didn't have the same flow going into pot heater, so we'll see what they can do here.
Footwork.
I think the whole Shimin thing coming into defence, not surprised really, again because of what I was talking about in the half-time analysis. Reality is England's still letting 29 goals. You know, that's going South Africa getting up to a 60 performance, and in lots of international games that will win you a match. So, you know, they had to change something. I don't think we were getting the best out of Kwashi, even though I think she's a real talent for the future. Shimin and Francis almost seem to partner each other better just with their style of play.
So we'll see if they are effective. 8 goals then the advantage. The red dresses of England. Clark to Haythornthwaite. Nice little bounce pass out to Corbin.
England throwing. So it's been quite scrappy at the start of this third. Already England's defence turned over 2 balls, but England yet to convert.
Yesterday, it was fair to say South Africa played like they had something to prove in that loss against New Zealand. For Jess Thirlby and her loss to Jamaica, Thirlby said it's the one that got away. Looking to right those wrongs 24 hours later.
Striking goal attack.
It's sometimes nice to get straight back out on that court after a loss like that. There's nothing worse when you end a test series like that and you have to go away and you're not back up with your teammates for another 6 months. So England will be pleased how they started today. Again, those unforced errors though, on offside on the centre pass from Kadeen Corbin. Probably unnecessary at this stage. You know, they've not been having any problems getting out on the centre pass, so get off the line, give themselves some space.
A little smile from Shimin. Sort of shoulder rubbing, shall we say, in terms of holding her position. A reminder, this is for the fourth playoff in this Netball Nations Cup. We need to decide the championship winner later. New Zealand taking on Jamaica for the title after this one.
Better shut down from the South Africa defence. Nat Haythornthwaite hung on to that ball for a long time. She's been using that depth for Amy Carter, getting her right down to the circle edge. But this time it took Kadeen Corbin such a long time to get in across that circle. I think what we saw from Ellie Carball in the first half is she sat deeper. So they were almost playing 2 shooters in that circle. They were allowing Haythornthwaite and Carter to bring that ball through. Can be effective, but it does rely on your centre court really opening up that space.
Outside the circle, please.
South Africa pick up then on the back line. Still at 100%, Lenise Pothita now 28 from 28 for South Africa, keeping them just 6 goals behind England.
Oh, and a great vision by Msomi. She used the 3 seconds so well. She looked in. She got Francis to take a step out, left Pothita wide open.
England fans, thank you a lot in our Super League. Tamsin Greenway, of course, being the one who bought Bongi and Somi. Spotted her, was it 2014 Commonwealth Games, and said, would you like to come and play in our league system?
The joy of Facebook, she thought I was joking with her. She said she had to Google me just to check it was me.
In those Super League playing days, under the likes of yourself, Tamsin, have proved very, very beneficial for Bongi and Zomi, and here she is on the ball.
Exactly, who needs an agent, hey, when you've got social media?
Nice ball in again.
There's still so much space in that circle. Although England are ticking the scoreboard over nicely, I'd like to see how they're going to cement that defensive unit now, Shimon and Francis. You can see there when he gets isolated, it's more about where the mid-court are landing the ball. You see they get to the edge of the circle, it's very difficult then for a goalkeeper one-on-one to stop anything going in. As a wing attack, I would be expecting to nail that pass once I'm on the edge, one-on-one. I think both teams will be looking at how many goals they're letting in.
Well, the third quarter was good yesterday, South Africa's against New Zealand.
We've seen a lot of games won and lost this week in the third quarter. And again, just so easy for England to ping it through. That depth by Nat Haythornthwaite getting right to the edge, and George Fisher's been so effective.
Play on.
It's a strange one. That's usually when someone footworks, you think they're going to recall it, and he carries on play on.
Goal defender, top of the circle, please.
You see they're still very much staying man-on-man in that circle. Shimon being pinged out against Rademan at the top. They're trying to shut down her roll, so Pothita isn't open on that baseline. I'd like to see them be a bit more creative, just drop off, try switch.
Contact centre, go third.
I think in the first half I only saw one switch in that defensive circle.
Contact, goal defence.
Corbyn's 4th shot of the game. And it's the 3rd one she's netted. 43-37. And a change being made. And one that the England fans are appreciating. Ellie Cardwell back on, Corbyn to the bench.
Yeah, I think tactically it was working for England. Just slightly better in that attack end. The depth Ellie Cardwell in our entry into the circle, she was always available coming in. It gave Pretorius and Mawene something to think about. And look, England have still got the lead. However, if you look at how far ahead they were in that first and second, they're not pulling the game away. And I think that's what Jess Delby will be wary of.
But Fisher delivering nicely. All 29 attempts have gone through. 44-38, 7 minutes remaining then in this third quarter. Lovely shot. South Africa pull one back.
When we think of progression this week, Rademan has been one of those players.
Done. Off you.
South Africa happy with that turnover, but Rademan been one of those players that have really impressed for South Africa. She's answered critics about her shot. She's really grown into her own, and that's the only way youngsters can learn. They get out there, you expose them, you see if they can shoot against all the top nations.
Goal defender, contact, over this side.
I've talked a lot about opportunity in this Nations Cup for all 4 of the nations. Top 4 of in the 5 in the world are here. Only Australia, the world number 1s in terms of INF rankings, not taking part. You really do have to take that opportunity, don't they, Tamsin? You're a coach, you know it. You give the players the opportunity, you put them on court. You've got to see if they can cope with everything that comes along with that.
Yeah, you do, and this is interesting. When you go into the bench, Vimbella coming on. And the South African bench reacted to the change that England have made, knowing they got absolutely no joy from that combination in the first half. See if Vimbella can do anything different against George Fisher, who's really had it all her own way.
So Vimbella in, will ply her trade at the Strathclyde Sirens, the Super League season, and that starts in a few weeks' time. Formerly Team Bath, of course. And 6th year on the national side. George Fisher, a little shake of the head. Gets the vision back.
Yeah, that was important for Fisher to hold on to that ball. We're just going to watch this. Fingertips there. It was great from Amy Carter to let that ball go. Oh, what a stop and turn by Rademan. And that's what I'm talking about, that isolation in the circle. Stacey Francis drawn out on pot heater. Just like them to think about doing something different, maybe just not going on that on Vimbella. What a take.
What a take indeed. This is to pull it back to 2, the deficit if South Africa get the chance. Pot heater picks it up.
Come off it, please.
45-43, 4.5 minutes remaining. The crowd sensing the England lead, which was 7 at half-time, being clawed back here by the South Africans. I mentioned all their losses have been very close this Nations Cup. You know what you get with South Africa. Now the crowd, Tamsin, become vocal to get behind the Roses.
Yeah, I actually thought South Africa were very quiet in that first half, especially in the first quarter. Listen to that noise. It's a big pressure moment for England. This is when they've just got to keep the composure, keep attacking the ball forward.
Goalkeeper.
And Vimbella being a lot more aggressive on Fisher than I think we saw from Mawene. And that's definitely made a difference. So funny how the mindset changes and when it gets so close. England have just been carving up that attack end, playing ball through, putting it brilliant ball into Fisher, and now they're just being a bit edgy and letting it go. But an important goal for England, just settle the nerves a little bit more.
Fisher gives the England Roses a 2-goal cushion. And the right of reply for South Africa. That vision again by Mzomi.
Well, it is, and pot heater's one of the best in the game at taking the ball over the top. It's probably England's defence's weakest area as well, going for that backing up without Jiva Mentor here, one of the best in the world, at going for that. Pot heater's having a bit of a field day.
A miss for England, a chance for South Africa to draw level.
We've seen South Africa in the last couple of years be in this position so many times, but never seem to get that across the line. This mental pressure of levelling the game and then going goal for a bit.
Well, if they pop this one in, it'll be dead level.
Contact wing defence.
And potentially going for goal to goal. Pot heater to draw level, 46 apiece. Just over 2 minutes of the third quarter remaining. The England lead has been clawed back by the South Africans, looking for their first win in the Nations Cup before they go home. But the roar is loud as England take control. They have to capitalise on this.
Yeah, Pot heater sort of threw her hands up and looked to the umpire. She's still having a chat now with Mzomi off our screen. She wasn't happy with that at all. She felt it was a contact call.
Goalkeeper. Whole time.
It's same old, isn't it? They got themselves into a position, and now you've got the crowd back against you. England feel comfortable.
Both players out.
Wait for the roar.
Yeah, here we are, that feed from Mzomi. She felt that Stacey Francis came in, but she never had 2 hands on it.
Advantage contact, win.
Cardwell.
And a great goal by Cardwell. Happy to turn and shoot, go to post. She's been so impressive this week. You're never sure how players like that are going to stand up to the international game. And She's definitely been a highlight of this Nations Cup for England.
Well, we know England can fight. You don't become Commonwealth champions in Australia's backyard without knowing how to fight at international netball, but we know South Africa can fight as well. England were 13 goals down yesterday in that loss to Jamaica, managed only to lose by 4. They will not want a big fight like that again on their final game of this Nations Cup, but are inside the final minute, Tams, in England with the slim one-goal lead.
Oh, Vanda Merva's got it with that. Jono caught the replay, really, I think, before she had it in her hands. Even she claimed she'd still got it under control.
Outside, outside.
Time on the clock, 30 seconds. England to stretch it out to 2.
England playing with fire there in these last few minutes. The break's going to come. Break's going to come early for these guys. They're going to want to get in there and regroup. Talk about how they start to open up this attack and again try and shut down some of this work in that circle by the South Africans.
The last few seconds. The fans are counting down. Fisher turns, shoots. The R from the crowd. George Fisher looking for something.
She was hoping for their penalty there. It wasn't going to come.
The hooter goes, the pyrotechnics are released. England are still leading here against South Africa, but surprise, surprise, the battle is on. England 49, South Africa 48, just 15 more minutes to go.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
So welcome back to the Copper Box. Quarter-by-quarter statistics, Tamsin Greenway. Say it all for South Africa in that third quarter, 19-13.
Yeah, well, it opened right up for them, didn't it? They really came into their own. Not only are they shooting 100%, both Pothita and Brademan yet to miss. Curse of the commentator, I'm hoping, is going to come up. But it was wide open in that circle. Somi and Charwayne were just getting to the edge way too easily. And down the other end, the impact of Vimbella coming on against Fisher made a real difference. And now we've got game on.
We have indeed, and continuing the theme of swings and roundabouts by all the national coaches. Kwashi back on in the goalkeeper position. Malcolm on now in wing defence.
Advantage offside.
England have gone back to that experience, haven't they, out the front with Malcolm and Jay Clark. They'll be looking to keep Somi and Charwayne up the court. So much pace between those two. They've got to help Francis and Kwashi out. Oh, but there's Pretorius.
See Jay Clark now in the centre position, scrambling for the ball.
And the good thing is England have been first onto the loose balls this afternoon. Really important, those things matter. They'll be looking nice and calm and composed. You think she's feeling like that?
No. She'll be desperate for a home win to end the Nations Cup. We all talk about the grand scale of things, don't we, Tamsin, in netball, that no one will remember it in 6 months and a year's time. And it's true. It's all about the building, though. But when you're in it, you know that. When you're in the thick of the action.
It's so difficult because as a player and a coach, you want to win things. At home, you want to win things, especially in front of your crowd. But, you know, when I did coach, it was all about the journey. You know, and we talk often about that it's not, you know, the semi-finals and finals matter. You know, it's how you get there. And as long as you guys are on the same page, doesn't matter any of the outside noise that's coming from it. But that's easier said than done.
And from a player-athlete point of view, it's all about the here and now.
Advantage offside, wing.
And the here and now means that England have a one-goal lead that could be pulled back level by South Africa. Taken nicely by Pothita, and they draw level at 51 apiece.
And there's another loose ball pickup from that Haythornthwaite. Danger of that now is that Ellie Cardwell's dropping back off that line of goal attack, which we came to expect, but Nat Haythornthwaite having to work so hard to get 3 on a 2-on-1. Jay Clark wants to ease that pressure and make sure, you know, she's got the offload behind her as well with Malcolm and Francis, both so dominant, bringing the ball through the court. Oh,
nearly.
Clark saw it.
Nearly for Clark.
And it was that work rate that I think Thurby was hoping with the injection
goal shooter
of Malcolm, but an attacking contact caught against Pothita. Whole bench is up. Siggy Berger not happy with that at all.
Well, the South Africa bench stood up with speed in terms of the decision, because South Africa had got themselves in a position to actually go into the lead in this match, but it wasn't to be.
They didn't, and attacking contacts are so costly. They were in great position. That would have been a shooting play there for Pothita. She wasn't happy at all. We're going to see. I think for me it was a bit of a 50-50. Francis got a leg caught up around Pothita. It was less of a shove and more of a tangle. England very quick to respond, and look at that, out to a 3-goal bumper.
Dorette Badenhorst on the South Africa bench shouting, cupping her hands to be heard here against the noise of the home crowd here at the Copper Box.
I think it's so easy to forget at this point, you know, there's 11 minutes left. There'll be some more twists and turns before you get to the end. Look at that from Vimbella, and South Africa have been so close to getting the ball off the England attack end at times. No, not many teams will go 11 minutes without making an error.
But back out to 3 for England, 55-52.
Just look at that defensive pressure, the difference with Malcolm coming on, even just fresh legs as well. No second phase has been able to go through for South Africa. They've had to go through the back door.
Siggy Berger on the bench for South Africa.
And the difference with that, this time Clark opts to go through the back through Francis, opens up Nat Haythornthwaite on the second phase.
With the shooter, please, ladies.
So Fisher will pick up.
Just relieving the pressure on Haythornthwaite out the front. She's had to do a lot of work again. No, just there we talked at the start that she has played at every single minute of every single game, and Rademan wide open.
Body's on the floor again. Haythornthwaite picks herself back up. South Africa on the sideline.
Both teams now struggling on that centre pass. South Africa with the second phase and England with the first phase. They'll want to address that in this quarter. Which team's going to react quickest? Oh, nice play from Ellie Cardwell. Rademan had nothing on.
Offside, goal tag.
England making this one count after being so good at the other end, getting themselves into the possession of the ball, and a little high five between Cardwell, Haythornthwaite and Fisher. I mean, England now still have a 3-goal advantage, under 9 minutes remaining.
England working so hard to keep the players up the court. Pretorius and Van der Merwe having to do so much work on that back line. Bearing in mind this is fourth quarter now. The South African attack end will be tired. They're having to keep playing that ball around. Fitness will play a part.
Tracy Neville on the right. Handed the reins over to Jess Thirlby after the World Cup in Liverpool last year.
So it's unforced errors, a late takeoff from Nat Haythornthwaite. I'm not actually sure it was, but it looked dodgy. And often that's enough to get you an umpire call.
Pretorius goes down.
On the deck.
Bit of contact between Cardwell and Pretorius. South Africa, though, put another one in.
Whole time.
Just one behind. Let's have a look.
They're just going to wipe the sweat off the floor. I think Pretorius spoke to the umpire then as play was going on. She went full front down on that court. Slid all her sweat all over it.
Flashy. Flying in.
Pahita again looking to the umpire. Still so much of this game to play. I know it's frustrating out there, but she just needs to get both hands on the ball and take the umpire out of the equation.
Is to draw level, 57 apiece. Delivered by Pahita. We haven't had any Nations Cup matches that have gone to extra time. Tamsin Greenway, still a long way to go, 7 minutes of course. But a reminder, just for our maybe new fans to the sport, what happens if we're deadlocked at full time?
We'll go to extra time. And it'll be the 7 minutes each way to start off with, and then of course it can go to golden goal if they're still level at the end of there. I'm sure after 4 matches this week, the players will be hoping to finish it in full time.
Well, Jess Thirlby's first match in charge when she took over those reins in South Africa went to extra time. Don't think she's fully recovered from that, so I don't think she'll want it to happen again.
Well, both teams weren't. South Africa weren't even prepared to go for extra time, I seem to remember. Didn't even realise it was happening.
Injury time, goalkeeper.
Well, have a couple of minutes break, and then they'll do 7 minutes each way. And then if we're still deadlocked, a winner by 2 goals.
South Africa entering Mweni back into the game. Actually surprised because Kimbella's been so effective, but straight away an impact. She smothers the front ball, allows Van der Merwe to come in for the intercept. And that is unit defence.
Confirmation of the South African players on court. 58 apiece, 58-54 was the winning score for England in Birmingham when they played a few days ago. So South Africa already netted more and go into the lead by 1. 6 minutes remaining.
England making them work so hard, having to play this ball around. Is South Africa going to be composed enough to go down the court? Great play from Pothita, and again, so isolated in that circle. Rasposhi coming right out the circle, never going to get it off Pothita. Leaves Stacey Francis one-on-one in there. I'm surprised they haven't fixed that during the quarter break.
South Africa in new territory in this game. 2 goals ahead. Fisher tosses it to Cardwell. From me to you. I don't go ever seen thunderclappers go so fast as the England fans are moving them at the moment to encourage and support their side with 5 minutes remaining.
And you've just got to clean up on that edge. They want to stay in the game. Pothita not looking comfortable there, I'm surprised. Oh, lovely feed from Msomi. She looked at it, she thought about it, let it go. Much better strength from Pothita.
Francis then to Kwashi. Get here.
Moving too soon.
Here.
And that shot there from Rademan, we've seen her in previous games look to offload when the pressure's been on. She didn't, she took it. 15 out of 15. She's been impressive today.
Barney's causing wing defense.
Yes, there will be. Cogs are turning. In her reign so far as England head coach, this is the side in this Nations Cup that she knows the best.
Big call there, Shalane, offside on the circle edge. She was tussling with the position with Jade Clark, and that's where the experience comes in. Jade really tight on the body, forces her to go off.
To draw it level at 61 apiece. 61-61. South Africa on the verge of fighting for their first and only Nations Cup victory. England looking to do the double over the South Africans.
Puts England back in front. South Africa having no joy getting this ball through. Very close to 3 seconds.
Question goalkeeper with your body. Here we are.
The chanting starts for England. Kwashi stands by. Little smile from Jay Clark. Rademan's had a great game for South Africa.
Just that miscommunication again. Both went for the forward ball, left Pothita wide open at the post.
Clark with the centre pass, the familiar name of Jay Clark. Getting England underway with 2 minutes remaining. Fisher to take the lead.
Pretorius is getting caught on Fisher at the moment. Fisher bodying up really well and are not allowing her to get anything. And this is where South Africa has struggled, just getting through over this third line. When they have done, they've been really effective on the edge.
1.5 minutes away. A reminder, this is a fourth playoff match for this Nations Cup. Still New Zealand and Jamaica to come, but England charge through the centre third. 1 goal up already. Looking to stretch it to 2 with just over a minute remaining.
England get this one. I reckon they'll see home the win. Big shot from Ellie Cardwell.
Contact.
She nails it. Stacey Francis with a big turnover there. Radaman looking to play out on the edge. She's been pretty faultless all game, Radaman. She'll be absolutely gutted with that.
Ladies, it's outside. It's outside
The shouts from the England bench. The clock ticks down.
Hold tight. Centre.
Never a dull match between England and South Africa. It doesn't matter whether it's the Commonwealth Games, the World Cup or the Nations Cup. Ellie Cardwell to pull one more out the bag. 65-62, the final 30 seconds to go.
Untapering the fence.
South Africa bench are on their feet. The England bench just looking on. Hot heater bounces one in. But with a 2-goal advantage in the centre pass to England, they're on the verge of doing the double over South Africa in this Nations Cup. And a massive boost for Jess Thirlby and her side to end with a win. The buzzer goes. England take victory over South Africa. A huge win for the England Roses. South Africa fought as they always do. But Jess Thirlby's side end their Nations Cup with a third-place finish and a win, 65-63.
Fantastic performance there from England, and they'll be so happy that they saw that through. They took the early lead. South Africa, as we know, came fighting back and actually looking towards the future and progression. You know, South Africa haven't got a lot more to come into this squad. When you look at the England side, they've got a huge heap of experienced talent that will come back into the mould as well. So to win that game and in the style that they did, to hold on, to mentally go through it, to take that toughness is invaluable for that squad moving forward.
For the new faces on both of these squads, Tamsin Greenway, who's impressed you the most from these two sides?
Oh, look, I'll start with South Africa because I thought Radaman was pretty much faultless until she threw that last-minute goal away. But, you know, that is what happens when you're a young player coming through. But brilliant shooting from her, 15 from 15, 100%. As for England, so good to see the progression of Amy Carter this week. Also, George Fisher finally getting a full game out there. She was brilliant. I think we've still got more to come from the defence, you know, and I think we highlighted that. That's not only going to be the individual, but how they work as a unit, but that will come the more time they have together.
Gail Davis, you're on court.
Thanks very much, Kath, and I am with the player of the match. Nat, you know how to put your coach and the fans through it, don't you?
It's an exciting one, wasn't it? I think credit to South Africa, they really brought it back to us in that third quarter, but we dug deep. There was no way we were going to let that win get away from us today, so I'm so proud of the girls.
Yeah, at times, what were you saying to them? Because the lead that you had, 7 at half-time, just slipped away.
Yeah, it's all about that fight, and I think just staying connected. We've got 7 leaders out there, not just me and Alex in the leadership roles, but we're all leaders out there on the bench, the staff, everyone was so connected, and that's just really important in our team.
You've had 4 really tough games, haven't you, in a very short space of time, thrown together. As a group, how far do you feel you've come during this Nations Cup?
I'm so proud. Jess told us just to want to improve from game to game and in patches of the games, but that's exactly what we've done, and I'm just so proud to be a Rose. I'm so proud to be a part of this group, and yeah, it's been really good.
We spoke to Jess a little bit earlier on, and we talked about you and your captaincy and your versatility with wing attack and goal attack. And she says, yeah, I'm going to build this team around her, and that must make you feel so proud, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's such an honour. Like, it's just so cool to be in the Rose and just to have this as my job, and just anytime I get to represent my country, it's just, yeah, amazing. I'm just really proud.
Well, you are our player of the match. Well played, Nat. And it's not just player of the match today, is it? Because Jess is going to present you with some flowers. Cap number 50. Well played. Thank goodness it ended in a win. Hey, ladies.
We made it an interesting 50th cap, didn't we? Sorry? I said we made it an interesting 50th cap. Memorable.
Memorable. Jess, can we have a word with you? I just said to Nat, they like to put you through it, don't they? Was there any time during that third and fourth quarter you thought, what on earth was I doing saying yes to this job?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I tend to go like quite deadpan under those moments. I just like to kind of study what's going on. I think we fully respect our opposition, and at half-time we knew we'd done a good job. We wanted to win the first quarter. We haven't done that so far this series. We did that. We backed it up again with building a lead by half-time. We spoke at half-time, we should expect a bit of a comeback and a fight. We respect South Africa hugely. We've come to know what to expect now. So it was a really difficult and challenging second half, but it was excellent to see some of our players really just kind of ride that out.
Yeah, who really stood up for you in that second half when you needed the voices and the leadership? Was you were sitting on the sideline? Who put their hands up?
I actually think it was hugely collective today. I think if you asked me on any other game, I could most probably pick out individuals, but I think today everyone had to play a part. I think Nat had to play a part. Turnover was hard to come by today. They were very clinical in their shooting circle. I thought their mid-court were excellent, so it was just a bit of a grind out. I think everybody in that had their moment, but it was really pleasing to see us still be able to come out, ride out and get a win.
Well, many congratulations.
Thank you.
Well played today, Jess. Oh, Dorette, you were hoping to come here and get that one win, and in the end, I'm guessing it's an utterly heartbreaking defeat.
Yeah, thanks to England for a great game. Yeah, I'm still very proud of these ladies. Just showed a lot of guts. A few tough goals against us, especially in the beginning. And yeah, it's things that we need to make sure that we just get back into the game and the next job on court. And yeah, great netball.
And just finally, what do you take away from this Nations Cup? You've had 4 really tough games, 4 very different teams in front of you that you've had to overcome. You must look at it and think, yeah, there's some real positives going forwards. All this game time that they've had together.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a 4-year cycle, and I'm really learned a lot through these games. Also, the players with every game, they just came back stronger and stronger. The fact that we have so many combinations out there that we can put a player on court and they will just make a difference. So yeah, we can take a lot from this, and it's just great playing against the best in the world. We have learned a lot, and thanks for this opportunity.
Well played. Unlucky today, but what a thrilling end. Thanks, Stuart.
So a 2-goal win for England, 65-63. Natalie Haythorne-Thwaite said, no way we were going to let that win go, and the England Roses didn't. Full-time reaction and analysis after the break.
GD must have a good dog. You're too kind. Oh, it's gone straight through. Hard luck.
Champions. From underdogs to undisputed grand final champions again. Tamsin Greenway sinks down to her knees and now the tears flow. But she would not give up this moment for all the world. Back-to-back titles for Wasps.
Oh my God, look how much it means to this team. Wow, wow, wow. Manchester Thunder, they've done it. They are 2019 Vitality Netball Super League champions. Look what it means to them.
The Super League is back, the 22nd of February. 5 games for you on air for 10 hours. Some familiar faces in that VT. Tamsin Greenway crying a lot.
Yeah, we cry too much, don't we?
Well,
and hug too much.
It's
ridiculous.
It's the relief, the emotion has all got all that work.
I love it.
There's no crying in netball.
You're not allowed to cry. There've been a few tears backstage already.
That's what we need to learn from the Aussies. Clearly, we've been getting it all wrong.
That's it. Great. Turning our attention back to the Nations Cup, and these are the standings. We're going to have a look at them right now. And New Zealand right at the top, 3 wins from 3. Jamaica 2 wins, victorious over England yesterday. That's why they're in the final, and the centre pass is at 5 o'clock today. Confirmation, England finishing in 3rd spot, beating South Africa by 2 goals. We've just seen an epic game, really fantastic game. And Nat Haythornthwaite's 50th cap. We're taking our breath, girls, and such excitement here at the Copper Box in East London, and we're really looking forward to the next game. But Lisa Alexander, if we reflect on the last few moments in that final quarter, there was a crucial intercept from one of the standout players from this Nations Cup, Stacey Francis. What do you make of this?
It's very Stacey Francis-like, that's all I can say. She's able to make something out of nothing, and she was ready for it. She'd probably seen it a couple of times, she'd rehearsed it in her mind, and she took her opportunity, and Radaman really would rue that opportunity of not taking the shot.
Yeah, as soon as Stacey saw Radaman turn to pass it, she knew it was going, so quick feet, quick reactions, amazing from her.
And she reads the opposition so well, Tamsin.
Yeah, she does, but look, in that position, when it's goal for goal, you've got nothing to lose as a defender. If it wasn't Stacey Francis, it was probably going to be Carla Pretorius, right? There are winners on your team. Stacey Francis is the winner for the England side, Carla for the South Africans, and thank God it was for us today. Can I say that? I am neutral, not.
You were allowed to. We thought it was going to go to extra time, though, because we saw that, didn't we, in the series when we were playing in South Africa, and England victorious in extra time in that first test. But it goes to show, Lisa, how close these two teams are. Do they, style for style, do they match up pretty well?
Yeah, they do, and I think South Africa had been building throughout this series, and they were probably a little bit disappointing in that first half, and they got into that groove in the second half. I think Vimbala coming back into their defence actually disrupted England a little bit, and, you know, Fisher just didn't have that same timing. So, you know, all over, I think South Africa would rue the chances that they were offered in that match.
Yeah, Tamsin, you were waxing lyrical about Radaman playing so well. I mean, obviously there are a couple of errors, but Pam, does that come down to international experience when those errors do creep in?
Yeah, definitely. She's so young and she's just entering into this squad. And look at that fabulous roll, how she took Shimin on the baseline, stopped, twisted, turned to receive that ball. I think she was really, really good today. Those last 2 mistakes at the end of the quarter, just finding space for herself. And today she was so confident to turn to the post, again, apart from that last one.
100%, 15 from 15.
So we know she can shoot, and when she's got that flow and that rhythm, I think it's really good that Badenhurst brought her back again, took her off in the game against New Zealand, started her again today and kept her on the court today, because all that time she has, all that experience can only make her a better player, and really excited to see what she can do in the future.
My goodness, the days are so young for her. She's got such a brilliant future ahead. Lisa, who stood out to you from the England Roses side?
Oh, I particularly loved Amy Carter. I've been waxing lyrical about her since the start, but I thought I want to give Jess Derby a compliment. In that last quarter, it was tight, and she made some changes. We were actually commenting counting on that. Would it be too disruptive for the English team? But that experience actually counted at the end. Stacey Francis at GD and also Jay Clark got a crucial intercept when it was needed, kept them in the game. And then particularly Ali Cardwell, I think she was really cool and calm. She just slotted those goals in at the end there, so well done.
Natalie Haythornthwaite, I'm so excited. Natalie's 50th cap, and how has she led this side in this Nations Cup?
Well, yeah, Jessa, we talked earlier about her being so creative and such a leader in this team. It's not just the work rate she does around the edge and how she brings the youngsters into the game, how calm she is on the ball. Look at that holding for 3 seconds and then vision down court. But it's also how involved she gets the crowd now, how vocal she is to the rest of her teammates. She's constantly high-fiving, tapping. What I love as well is even when they were down, they come off at the quarter and she brings her whole team in before they even go to the coach. That's a sign of a leader. They don't just go straight to the bench and go, give me, give me, give me. They come in, they take responsibility for what's just happened, and they needed to do that after that third quarter because they weren't good enough. They settled that as a group, and then they went to the bench and was given the coaching information.
Yeah, this attacking end, it's a developmental phase, Pam, isn't it? And we didn't know if Jess had a structure over the last few days. We didn't know what really was happening, who she was going to play, but things have evolved and we're seeing a clearer plan right now going forward.
Oh, definitely. The starting 7 that she had today, I think, was definitely the right one. And as you say, in that attacking end, it was really good to see them back up what they finished against Jamaica. And George Fisher, what unsung was she? Yeah. She was so good and composed in that circle end, and Ellie feeding her good.
Well, it's what we wanted to see, isn't it?
It's what we wanted to see, and we want to see them grow in it. Yeah. Like getting that more opportunity to play together, because until you play together a lot, it's not until you understand each other.
Absolutely, and this place was buzzing, absolutely electric, and it's going to be electric for our next game. New Zealand up against Jamaica, that's at 4:45, so we're just going to take a short break. Lisa, what's your prediction for this game in 5 seconds?
I think it's going to be New Zealand, but it'll be tighter than we've seen before.
The Sunshine Girls, they were on song, weren't they, against England yesterday? What could they do? The final coming up very shortly.